Permutations and Combinations Part 3. Specify the number of ways to perform the task described. Give your answer using P and choose R or C and choose R notation. On a biology quiz, a student must match 8 terms with their definitions. Assume that the same term cannot be used twice. In order to solve this problem, we first need to determine if this is a permutation or a combination. We need to remember our definitions. The permutation says that the order in which we choose objects matters. The combination says that the order in which we choose objects does not matter. So let's review our scenario. We have a biology quiz, and we must match 8 terms with their definitions. So we can just sketch this out really quickly. Say we have 8 terms. We'll call them T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, and T8. And then we have a group of definitions out to the side. And we're going to match each term with a definition. Now, the problem tells us that the same term cannot be used twice. So here we have 8 definitions. Since the same term can't be chosen twice, that means if we matched term 1 to definition 3, definition 3 is no longer there. Then we only have 7 other definitions to choose from when we look at term 2. Now, if we want to determine if the order in which we select the definitions matters. Well, the order does matter because each term has only one correct definition and can only be used once. So since the order in which we select the definitions does matter, and again, that's because each term only has one correct definition, so the order in which we choose them does matter, we're going to use a permutation. Permutations are in the form P and choose R. Now, we want to give our answer in the P and choose R notation. That means we're not going to solve. We're just going to identify the values for N and R, and then we'll type our answer in that notation. So N is the number of objects or the number of terms that we have. And the problem tells us that we have 8 terms. So N equals 8. R are the number of definitions that we can choose from. And since there's one definition for each term, and there's 8 terms, we also have 8 definitions. So R is 8. And that means that our notation is P, 8, choose 8. And this is the final answer. This is the answer that you'll type into my math lab. You will not solve using the permutation formula. You'll just type in P8, 8, and that will be your answer. Specify the number of ways to perform the task described. Give your answers using P and choose R or C and choose R notation. The key in recognizing whether a problem involves permutations or combinations is deciding whether order is important. A hot sauce bar has 18 varieties. You are going to select 9 to taste, but you do not care about the order in which you taste them. So remember, in order to decide whether we're going to use a permutation or a combination, we have to figure out if order is important. In this scenario, we have 18 different hot sauces and we need to select 9 of them to taste. But the problem tells us that the order in which we taste them does not matter. Since the order does not matter, we're going to choose a combination. That means our answer is going to be in the form C and choose R. Now we need to identify the value for N and the value for R. So N is the total number of hot sauces that we have to choose from. And there are 18 different varieties, so N equals 18. R is the number of hot sauces that we're going to taste, or that we're going to select. So R equals 9. That means that our final answer is C, 18, choose 9. And this is what we would type into my math lab.